Hi everyone, it's 12 o'clock. Let me check. Yes, it is. It's Wednesday. It's time for Wow Ergonomics with me, Graham, and Stephen Howe. Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Are you well?
How are you?
Are you well? Yeah, I'm good. Got my Christmas jumper on. That's good.
Yeah.
Got me flashing lights.
Very
Ready
festive.
for in a minute. Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. It's told me that we've now just gone live on YouTube. Hello to everybody in YouTube land. Last week, we got the biggest ever attendance on Twitter ever.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow for wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
At the point of going live, 27 people watched this on Twitter last week.
Good news. That's well done to us.
Yeah, fantastic. This is probably the best ergonomic broadcast on Twitter. Probably. Fact.
Yeah.
Well known fact. So what's it been like for you? Are you winding down now for Christmas, or are you winding up?
I shouldn't have been winding down because I actually had quite a few site visits and meetings in the diary for this week and for next week. But as you can imagine, they've just been cancelled. Well, not cancelled, moved virtual basically in reality. So I was due to go and I was due to be out today, tomorrow and next Wednesday, and they've just been moved to virtual. So the activity can still take place, but possibly isn't as effective with some of the things that we do and some of the things I was going to talk about. It's good to still have it virtual, but it's not the same. And it'd be interesting to see. I've got a lot of things booked in for sort of the first couple of weeks back in January. It'll be interesting to see what happens with those. But it's certainly, I mean, a couple of mine were due to be in central London. It's certainly not worth going a fair distance to then find there's only one or two people attending. So I think it's the right call. But yeah, it shouldn't have been a winding down, but it probably feels like it is. But it's just given me the opportunity to catch up on some of those very boring admin jobs that I keep putting off till a time when I've got a bit more time, and that time's now.
Yeah, I've been doing a bit of those very boring admin jobs this week. You know, the old spreadsheet Rooney. Yeah. I love a bit of that. Copy paste. Why has no one ever written a song called Copy Paste? That's a great idea, isn't it?
Well, not yet.
If you're listening out on Twitter land, where most of my music friends are, just think about it. That'd make a great little dance song, wouldn't it? Copy paste.
Maybe Daft Punk will take up on that. Maybe someone like that will.
Well, they've retired now, haven't they?
Yeah, maybe they'll come out of retirement to do this just copy paste song. Yeah,
copy paste. That'd be great. Yeah,
that was almost going.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're right.
No, everything's gone. My screen has gone totally black.
Oh well, you're still there in our land.
Okay.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's see if I can get
just ride with it. It'll be okay.
Okay.
Go on. You were saying it was going a bit what?
You were sounding a little bit sort of pub singer Vic and Bob.
Yeah.
You were slipping back into that, weren't you?
Do you know what? I used to love that. I used to really love that.
Yeah.
For those that aren't culturally up on what Stephen's talking about, Vic and Bob went. Bob Reeves and Vic Mortimer, when they were Vic and Bob and Vic.
Yeah.
Back in the day, one of the things they used to do was Vic. It was Vic, wasn't it? Vic used to do. Oh, he's gone. Maybe he'll come back in a second. Anyway, just so I keep telling you, Stephen, come back. They used to do popular songs, but in the style of a club singer. That's what they used to do. I'm going to just try and find Stephen. I don't know where he's gone. He's running away from me. Oh dear. You leave him for 2 minutes, and look what happens. Stephen, come back. You have gone, Stephen. I think he's had an episode. Maybe he'll be back in a second. Anyway, so that's what they used to do. And then people had to guess the song, and Vic would do like his little thing. So it would be like, love the pub singer, your party piece. Is it, Debbie? That's brilliant. Name me a song now, and I'll try and do it as the pub singer. Anyone want to do? Anyone? Ashley, you're there. Name a song. Thanks for joining us today, Ashley. Thanks for joining us, Odessa. Hi. Hope you're well. By the way, if anyone would like to join us today to do, while Steve's away, if anyone would like to join us to do the game later on, here is the link. I bet he's been hit by the gremlins. I reckon he has been. So yeah, anyone got a pub singer song that I can do? Just let me know. Angels. Wonderful. These are great examples. Angels. A silhouette does an angel contemplate my feet. There you go. That's Angels. Crazy in love. Crazy in love. Look at that love. Look at so crazy in love. Yeah, brilliant. Sweet Caroline. Ah, brilliant. Wonderful. You're wonderful. Marvelous. They are. Quick rendition of all of those things. Let's see if we can find Stephen. Stephen, where are you? Oh, computer is rebooting. Thank God for that. Here he goes.
Hello. Sorry about that.
You just missed me doing Wonderful, Angels, Crazy in Love, and Sweet Caroline as the pub singer.
Oh, did I really? Oh,
yeah.
Gutted.
Oh my God, you sound like Boris Johnson. Oh my God, I sound like Boris Johnson. Amazing. Oh, really? Imagine Boris Johnson as the pub singer. That'd be great.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, you put everybody in and you take everybody out. In, out, shake it all about. You do the coronavirus and you turn around and nobody knows what it's on about. Anyway.
Brilliant.
Fairy Tale of New York. Oh, my word. Well, it was Christmas Day, babe. In the tractic.
That we need to somehow, maybe for those people who sort of this is completely alien to them, we somehow need to get a clip of this up, don't we?
Nothing. Cheeky so and so.
I think it's a bit like.
By the way, I got your Christmas present.
Oh,
got your Christmas present.
Hang on.
Look. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you open? Can you open it for me?
Well, yeah, I will. There you go. It's really useful.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
It looks like one of our products.
It's one of your products.
Look at that.
Because the lady loves milk tray.
Yeah.
And this is milk tray. Oh dear. Please, if you're a professional, please diagnose and treat. Oh,
is that what both of us, or just you, or
no? Probably just me.
Yeah,
probably
I think
just
so.
me. No,
so sorry. As we were talking, the screen went totally black, which I could still speak to you on, and then the computer started, the laptop whirred, and then just went, and then everything died. So.
Yeah, it's got a
One
virus.
Of those things.
It's got a virus, like everybody else in the
world.
I
can say that the laptops are just joining the rest of the population, aren't they? They want their own virus.
Yeah, they do. This is funny, actually. That's a very good point. Since everybody else has been having a virus and been talking about having a virus, we've heard less about computer viruses. Just saying.
Absolutely.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did it start? No, let's not go there with conspiracy theories.
They were saying, I was reading before, they were saying that this is sort of the last day, if you've got coronavirus, that you can get out before the big day on the 25th, isn't it? There was a piece saying
really?
if you because it got to 10 days isolation. So if you get it from now on, your Christmas Day is kippered,
Imagine
as it were,
that. Isn't it? Imagine that, a coronavirus advent calendar sort of thing. Countdown to Christmas.
1 to 15. After 15, there's just no point. It's Christmas is ruined.
Oh my word! Steve takeover. Yeah.
No.
Right. By the way, any of you that are watching, Mike, Debbie, Ashley, Odessa, anyone that wants to join us for Guess the Ergo today, I have put the StreamYard link in the comments. Please do pick it up from the comments. Hopefully you can see it.
It concerns me when a dosser. Well, she is a dosser as well, isn't she? But Odessa said, wait a second, comment incoming. But she said about takeover, I very much see myself as the Andrew Ridgeley to George Michael, is it, where I'm very much sort of in the background and just sort of contribute little bits and pieces, but maybe grab the glory as well.
What, you mean you're still alive making money and I'm dead?
Well, no, but come on.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean. Second fiddle.
Honestly, I just so that everybody knows, neither of us are on the fiddle. All right, It's true. Hey, look at that. That's lovely, isn't it?
Nice.
All you need to create a great Christmassy a 1980s disco effect is one of these. Yeah, if you haven't got one of these yet, this really livens up a Zoom meeting. Trust me. That in the background with a white background as well. Really good. Tom, you remember earlier, let's do a little sort of breakdown of guests over the year. You remember Tom Morley?
Right? The came on. Scritty Politti guy?
Yeah. He'd love this.
Yeah.
He'd love all of that. So yeah, we've had some great guests this year. I still have nightmares after playing that game. Never again. Oh really? Wasn't that bad, was it?
I thought Mike did quite well, didn't he?
I thought, yeah, Mike was fine. Mike did really well, and in fact, Mike's ratings, on LinkedIn went up marvelously afterwards. Oh, you got everything to play for there, Mike. I think. I've actually got a scarf.
He doesn't dare come back, does he? You see.
I've got a scarf today. So I could guess. Maybe I should guess today. Maybe you should find a product.
I'll have to start scrambling around to see what I can
mind
find.
You. There you go. Yeah, well, have you got a Backer Elkheisen product from 1936 or something like that?
No, but I've just sort of looked down to my right and I've just seen a great product. Oh, yes,
really?
We need to
do that. I might do the guessing today then.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that one time I got you with the three ergonomists on the photo. I mean, that was legendary, wasn't it?
I'm a recovering WoW guest. Oh dear. Wow anonymous. Yeah. That's a thing that could happen. Yeah. I'm really looking forward now to 2022. We had that with 2021. Everyone really looked forward to 2021, didn't they? Yeah. After 2020. But I'm really looking forward to 2022. Because, 2021 has certainly been better.
Yeah. It started off quite low and it sort of got good over the summer. And then it hit September, October, and it's just come down the other side, hasn't it, again?
Really? Yeah. But hopefully, I'm really looking forward to 2022.
But here's the thing: there is a support group.
What for 2021? Maybe.
Yeah. So what happens then? What happens this time next year? Because there's a lot of people going to have had all this hope that we next year will be better. We got out of it and we've fallen back in it. So this is the bit that I don't get. Whether this is one for the scientists, whether there's anyone else out there who can comment. But what stops us being in exactly the same position come next winter when this whatever it is, if it mutates again and it comes back roaring again with a vengeance, are we back in this next year? Are we basically living our lives between April and October, and then the rest of it is keep your fingers crossed? And I don't know. That's the thing I can't. And I think a lot of people you speak to think well, it isn't really any better than it was. It is better than it was last year, but it doesn't feel as if it is to some people because they're still restricted. So does it come back again and again? Does it die off? Are we stuck in this permanent loop until everyone's vaccinated? That's the bit I can't get my head around.
Look at this comment. Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't. But I think 2022 will be even better. I think it'll be even better. I think the main thing that I'm most concerned about for the majority of people is the dealing with it, not, and I think from 2020 into 2021, it was actually about how do we physically deal with the virus. But I think going from 2021 into 2022, I think it's more about how do we mentally going forward deal with the virus. I think, I think that could be the bit where if we're not careful, we become unstuck. Because as you say, I think a lot of people are pinning hope that this disappears, right? I mean, I've kind of got to the point where I'm just thinking this is like the flu. Talking about which, I went and had in my right arm yesterday. I had my flu jab. Yeah. Apparently, I'm not allergic to egg. It's really odd questions that you get asked, isn't it, when you go for a virus jab? Are you allergic to egg? Why? Are you going to feed me egg? No, I'm going to inject you in the arm. Are you putting an egg in there?
Yeah.
Apparently it is. There's a lot to do with the whites of eggs are used in.
Okay, didn't know that.
So same as a lot of vaccines. But yeah, and they always ask you right or left arm, and I always think, what's it really matter?
Yeah,
really, because especially I'm having my other booster jab next week. So what I probably will do is have that in the left, and then I've got,
mix it up.
I won't walk with a tilt because of
all the vaccines in one side of your body.
yeah, all the vaccine in one side. I'm going to the wonderful Haynes Motor Museum in order to have mine, which will be quite interesting. I might actually stop and have a look round. Don't know.
What day are you going next week?
Oh, it's the egg protein. What day am I going next week? I think it's. Let me have a look. It should be in here.
I'm going Friday this week.
Oh, are you?
For my booster, yes. Friday at Sutton Coldfield Town Hall.
Oh, I can't even see where I've put it now. I've got a feeling it's.
Are we not doing Wow live from there, Graham? Can we do? Do you think they'd let us in?
What Wow live on the
live
Tuesday
booster?
Yeah, that would be quite good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure there'd be rules against that. So,
yeah, I think injection strategy. Yes, but what was I saying? I've completely forgotten now.
You were talking about how we were physically able to sort of deal with it last year, but now we're talking about the mental side of it.
Yeah, that's the bit I worry about, because I just think that a lot of people are going to think this is going to come to an end, and it's not going to come to an end, and then actually it's going to draw a lot of people into quite a deep depression about it. I think we need to start ramping up the support in terms of how mentally people deal with the fact that this is something that we're going to live with.
I saw an interesting comment yesterday, and there was all the debate going on, and I sort of scrolled through some of the live chat just out of interest, not sort of reading everything, but there was one comment that one of the MPs made, and I can't think who it was, and along the lines of, he said, there cannot be no implications for those people who are not vaccinated. In other words, there has to be some output, there has to be some result or impact on those people who won't get vaccinated. And I know we'd seen these these more extreme measures from, I think, Germany and Austria, talking about mandatory vaccinations. I know that's happening for the NHS, etc. But it was just interesting. His comment was that at some point in the future, there can't be no implications, almost sort of alluding to the fact that actually it is, how do we have to, or is it a bit carrot and stick? Is it carrot and stick with the people who are unvaccinated? I got the impression that actually we can incentivize and all this sort of thing, but ultimately at some point there has to be some repercussions for those people who aren't prepared to get vaccinated. It just sort of, to me, gave you a little window into what could potentially happen, and could you get a situation where it stokes up a lot of anger towards those people who aren't. Do you know what I mean? People have sort of said, oh, well, it's people's choice and that sort of thing. But I think if people have now gone through this for 18 months, 2 years, and it's being framed that those unvaccinated people are contributing towards it, I think that could then start, things could get a little bit sort of nasty, couldn't they? I just get the feeling that's where it could start going, is almost to say, well, actually, we can't have this next year, and you're on notice that you've got to have done something by next October, or you will start having serious implications on what you can and can't do.
It's really difficult, that. It's really, really difficult, because I've heard both sides of the story, and I really sympathise with some people that are saying, well, I don't want the vaccine because, well, I can't have the vaccine for other medical reasons, and I'm being told that I shouldn't have the vaccine. Some of my medical history says that I shouldn't have the vaccine. It's really, really difficult. Is that a double negative?
It is. Probably. It is a double negative.
It is. It's really, really difficult. I think that's an interesting point you throw up there, Odessa, that the suicide impact will be felt 2 to 3 years post main pandemic, and that's what I'm saying. I believe we'll start to see the beginnings of that going into next year. I really.
But how do we prevent that? What can we do now? I mean, Odessa's given us again a real interesting bit of foresight that it's going to take 2 to 3 years for that to potentially start coming through. If we recognise that, what can we do now? Who can? It's not always a case of throwing money at something, but what can government, local organisations, support groups, what can they do now to stop that happening? If we're seeing it going to happen,
I think we need to start talking about it. I think we actually need to start talking about it. I mean, it was really, really interesting travelling to school the other day with my 2 youngest.
Do you walk to school with them, Graham, or drive to school?
No, drive. It's too far to walk. It's 5 minutes.
You can see it from your window. You were looking out at the school there.
No, I'm joking. No, it's actually at the other end of town. But the and my daughter, who's going to be 8 soon, said, when is COVID going to disappear, Dad? Because I really wish COVID would just disappear. And I just think, well, we've got to, I think, like a lot of other things, we've got to start having these conversations, difficult that they may be, with our children. I think we've got to start having those conversations in schools. I'm not sure whether we are. I don't know how we have those conversations, but we need resourcing into that. Yeah. In the same way that we've dealt with a lot of other big issues in schooling and whatever. Went into a certain supermarket the other day, and up on the shelf, one of the top books for children was a book called something to do with I don't like racism or something.
Right. Okay.
It's a children's book that was, trying to teach kids about racism and overcoming racial abuse. And we need. I think we do actually. Although I know certainly from talking to a lot of artists on the music front, etc., a lot of people have steered away so far in terms of talking about COVID, because it would seem blasé to kind of talk about it or write about it or construct around COVID whilst we're in the middle of all of this. But we perhaps need some of those people to start doing some creative stuff around it now, in order to help people address some of the issues. I don't know.
It's just a case of what if in 12 months, when we're having this, we're doing Howe Ergonomics on whatever it is on the 22nd of whatever December next year. If we're in this same situation, I think it's going to get really, like you're saying, it's going to get really difficult. Like again, we've got to learn to live with this. But we said that last year, didn't we? And we're going back to this same sort of situation again, aren't we? It's just, no one seems to know the. I mean, I guess maybe there isn't an answer. Maybe we've never seen this before, and actually, the reason there isn't an answer is because there isn't an answer. But if we go into next year, you're talking Christmas number 3, aren't you?
Yeah.
From last year to this year, next year, there's got to be some. To me, Q2 next year, there has to be some sort of strategy, almost an exit strategy from this, to say this is how we're going to deal with it, even if the numbers go really, really high or whatever. This is how we're going to do it. I mean, look, ultimately, if they say for a period of time every year you have to wear a mask in a shop, and that's just what you have to accept. And I know in a lot of Far Eastern countries that mask wearing has been something that's been done quite a lot in public because of pollution, etc. I think if people got used to that idea that maybe in these months you had to do that, then I think it's something that people could get on board with. I think it's just the uncertainty. And you're hearing now, we've gone to plan B. Oh, are we going to get in? I've had people saying to me, oh, do you think we'll be in lockdown and stuff like that? It suddenly jumped from going to plan B to people already getting ahead of the game and thinking about lockdown. And thinking, we've got to somehow nip this in the bud, haven't we? We've got to get it. So like you say, we live with it. But we're not going through this every year because, as you say, Odessa and a few of the people have mentioned, some horrific, issues that are going to just come out in the wash over the next 18 months, 2 years, aren't they?
Yeah. And just let's be clear, nothing wrong with Plan B. Nothing wrong with Plan B. In fact, I love Plan B's albums. I've got all of them. Yeah.
Do you know what you're talking about? Music. A friend of ours went to see Ocean Colour Scene on Sunday.
Oh, really? Yeah.
In Birmingham. And she tested positive for COVID yesterday on the back of that.
Well, I was meant to last week. I was meant to go and see Shed 7.
Yes, you were.
Yeah. And then it got cancelled at the last minute.
Oh, did they cancel it?
They cancelled it. Yeah. One of the touring party got COVID. Literally the day before, Rebecca Pay on LinkedIn put a lovely post up with a photo from the front of Rick doing his stuff and whatever, and said what a fantastic show it is. Yeah. Oh, you'd love to go and see this show. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And it's cancelled.
No, you're not. It's interesting because people are going to get clever with some of this stuff. Because I was just reading before we started the show, actually, that there's this there's the rule around the COVID passports, isn't there, for getting into events. And I think it said it was Carlisle United was the team who play in like the 4th division in old money of football. And I think what they'd said is to get round the rules about the passports, they were capping their capacity at 9,999. Now, obviously, I don't think they get crowds bigger than that, but their get around of this 10,000 for an outdoor event is to cap the attendance. So you don't then have to manage the whole process of whatever are called. I mean, I don't like the phrase vaccine passport. To me, it's that word, I think, is what antagonizes a lot of people. I don't like it. It should be whatever you want to call it. It shouldn't be called a passport, but that's their way around it. And I'll be interested to see how many other people start doing the same, where they start limiting. But of course, a lot of sporting clubs like football clubs and rugby clubs make a lot of their money over the festive period. Because you've got lots of bank holidays, you tend to get bigger crowds and attendances. So it's interesting that some are going to potentially do that, but potentially going to lose revenue on the other side. It's a whole interesting thing, isn't it? You go, actually, it's a clever idea, but what do you lose from that?
Yeah. Can I just say, before we go any further, now this is really interesting. So now what we've got, we're at this point in proceedings in the show, etc. We're now into a very serious, very, very good cerebral debate, right? For all of you out there that go, I like LinkedIn being a very serious business platform. Can I just say to you one thing? When we started this show at the top of the hour and we were mucking around and then I was singing, we had a whole host of people watching. Now we're down to 1 because we're into a very serious business-like debate. So I just to say this, you're wrong. All of that.
So we've lost everyone.
Well, we've lost everyone. We'll probably get them all back as soon as we start playing the game again.
Yeah.
because that's what happens. You see, that is what happens. But I think that's a really, really interesting point, right? And it was a point that I was discussing with Sir Guy Osmond the other day, which was that, you know, but content should be, you know, businesslike on this platform. I thought, yeah, it's fine, but nobody likes it. Nobody look at them, you know, just disappear in their droves. As soon as you do something that's a little bit more entertaining, a little bit funny, everybody comes running at it. Oh yeah, sing Wonderwall like Bob the Builder. I know, you know.
Give the people what they want, Graham.
Give the people what they want. That's clearly what they want.
Do we throw in the game? Do we throw in the game now, Graham, to entice a few people back in?
Well, quite possibly. We may need to bring Odessa in for that. You know, I'll wait and see whether she joins us. Maybe if I turn this on.
Hang on a second. If she joins, she'll be there. She's already clicking the link now.
She may do. Should be cursing me. Should be cursing. There you go. Told you. Oh, here we go. Hello.
Like that. That's so mean. Here we go.
What? No. What I mean by that is that, you know, I love that top. Cool.
My husband stole it from one of their clients.
Oh.
Anyway, we don't need to talk about theft.
Very Christmassy.
written warning on its way out to Mr. Sherryard as we speak.
Thefts are always up at this time.
You didn't call him Mr. Odessa this time. At least you used the surname this time. We're making progress. That's always good.
There we go. So today, Odessa, look, I'm going to wear my scarf. Now, I haven't got any Utton Coalfield or slice of ham or whatever written on mine. It's just an ordinary
How
stripe.
did they, just in case? Oh, hang on.
Yeah, there you go. Well, your new Sunderland one. Yeah.
Sunderland one. Yeah.
So I'll put this on. And then Stephen's found something, apparently. I haven't played this for so long. Oh, the only thing is I'm going to have to... Can you just hold it up?
The item?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right then, because otherwise I can't bring it up on screen. Right.
This is scraping the barrel at very short notice.
Yeah.
Odessa.
I mean, hence I'm the guest.
Exactly. I mean,
scraping the barrel very short.
And the item was pretty poor as well. So look what I've got here.
I need that in my life.
You know what that is, don't
What
you?
is it? Duck liver pate?
Just not listening to him. Can we mute him? Is that? Yeah. I got what it was.
I'm just checking in case you
I
go
didn't
off.
assume it was a full body tattoo or something.
He hasn't got one of those yet.
I'll hold it there. Hang on.
That's very exciting.
Full body tattoo.
I know. Don't just hate the mirrored. Yeah. Are you going to start asking questions, Graham, or are you just taking a nap whilst you're upright?
Actually, it's quite nice. Is this something you use with your hands?
No.
Okay.
So that was a bit aggressive. No, it's not, Graham.
Okay. Is it something you wear?
No. Not a full body tattoo.
Do you know what? As Stephen sniggers, I'm now thinking, shall I just ask questions that will get a funny response?
I don't know. How long is a piece of string?
Yes.
Well, we have no viewers, so you might as well do it.
We might have viewers now.
The viewers here. We've lost. We've gained a guest and lost a viewer.
We gained everything. Yeah. So, do you put it on the desk?
Yes.
Okay. Does it go directly in front of you at the desk?
No.
It goes to the side of you at the desk. Okay. But you don't use it with your hands.
No.
Okay. Do you use it to view written work?
No.
Just before you guess again, do you know, I'm looking at Graham. Have you seen the Harry Potter films, Odessa?
No.
He looks like one of those one of the teachers within the first Harry Potter film who wears looks like a turban and Voldemort underneath it. but it's actually a scarf. Do you know what I mean, Graham?
Yeah.
I
Oh
would
my
have just
goodness.
assumed he's a regular moron, but I mean yours sounds a little bit more cinematically exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's your regular low budget guest.
Yeah. No, you're
Right.
not.
Do you use your eyes
No.
with this product? No.
No.
So it sits to the side of you at the desk.
It's aesthetically pleasing, but it's not for your eyes. Yeah.
So you don't look at it at all?
No, you wouldn't.
Okay. Can you,
You
hear
might,
it? Does
you
it?
might,
Does
unless
it?
you might if you were looking for a friend, because you've got a friend in me.
Okay.
You got a friend indeed.
Oh my goodness. Does it make a sound?
No.
Okay. I am useless at this.
I'm not helping you either.
No.
He's making me look brilliant at this game, isn't he?
Yeah, it does. It does. Okay. And it's an ergonomic product.
I mean, it's not the best quality one in considering the other products that we've seen.
Right.
But it does have an ergonomic purpose.
Okay.
And it was very short notice, Graham. It was literally all within I could grab from where I was sitting. So I was sitting down when I grabbed this item.
Does it need anything else with it to make it work, like a mouse mat? Is it a mouse mat?
Yes.
Is it?
Not just any old mouse mat, though, Graham.
Ah! You got a friend. Honestly, when that clue came out, I was thinking, what?
Toy Story mouse mat.
Really good one.
Yeah, it is a really good one.
There we go.
A really good one. Well done.
I'll return it to where it was.
Now you see, I'll tell you something. That's a really antiquated piece of kit, isn't it? A mouse mat. Who actually even uses a mouse mat anymore?
Do you want to know why I'm using it? Because today I am sat at the kitchen table and we've got a nice Christmas tablecloth on the table. And because of that, the mouse won't, I'm using the PRF mouse, and it won't work on the tablecloth. So therefore I've reached behind me to where the kid's laptop is. And I thought there's a mouse mat down there. It's a Toy Story one. Hence, that's why I'm using it today, because the mouse will not work on a kitchen or a Christmas tablecloth.
I use a mouse mat for friction, but I don't use a mouse mat. I use any available free.
Demand from HMRC.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people do use these days just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
As long as there's something to, effectively let the laser work, then it's fine. Of course, mouse mats by origin actually started when there was still a little ball underneath the mouse.
Yeah. It needed that friction, didn't it?
Do you remember that, Odessa?
Yeah.
Are you? No.
Why do you do this to me every time? As if I came out from an egg like only a few years ago.
Because you're younger than us by about.
Because you're younger than us.
I mean, as we've had conversations before, Graham, we've had conversations before that my parents clung to as much of the old tech as they could. So yes, I am very well aware of the mice with balls underneath.
Yeah.
Take that as you will.
Well, absolutely.
Female mice are available.
I remember biology lessons too. Now, the thing was, I remember that when people brought, you might remember this as well, when people used to buy said mice, they also used to buy quite often little cleaning kits as well for cleaning out the ball.
Never bothered with those.
Yeah.
Never bothered using them.
And people used to therefore have on their desk things like little earbuds, or things similar to little earbuds with alcohol and wipes, etc. And they'd sit there.
Not like a can of lager.
No, not that sort of alcohol. Like isopropyl.
If you're still using this kit, You may want to have a stout or something nearby just to question your life.
Do you remember, kids, when work was? Shh. Oh, I better do my mouse while I'm here.
Everyone's mouse would smell of skull or something like that.
Skull, McGuigan's.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh dear. Now, we can't talk about Christmas with Odessa because she doesn't celebrate Christmas.
That's a little discriminatory. You can still talk about it. I just have
I'm just saying in terms of, talking about present buying and all of that sort of thing.
Okay.
But what does the Christmas period hold for you?
Well, we're coming down to Somerset.
Yeah.
Tomorrow until Tuesday, and then we'll try and see family and friends and stuff like that. We'll try and meet up with people, but people are always just so flipping busy. You'd think that it's the time of year where everyone's off work, so you have lots of time and everything's shut, or was traditionally over the years. Things have opened up more for Christmas, but I remember it always being like a dead 3 or 4 days where you couldn't really go anywhere or do anything because everything was shut. So we used to do like ice rinks used to be open on Christmas Day, and that was always fun. But no, nothing particularly planned. I think I'll still be working. So
now that's really interesting. Do you think part of this pandemic thing? I don't really want to do the whole show on COVID, but do you think that that's going to cause a lot of people to work more over Christmas?
Well, what else have you got to do? Stuff's got to get done. If it makes January easier, why wouldn't you?
And I think you still haven't seen, we mentioned before that 10-day thing. I think you haven't seen the impact of that yet, because there are people's Christmases going to be literally crossed off every single day. You're going to have people, if people follow the rules, which I think people will do, if they're going around to see relatives, you'll have people's Christmases being cancelled on the 24th. There'll be people not turning up on the 25th because they've done a lateral flow test. It's going to happen.
Or you might actually find that Christmas is no longer one day, but it's a series of smaller celebrations over the week between Christmas Day and New Year's, where actually so-and-so has just come out of isolation. And then, there's nobody else. Let's just gradually see all the family over that period of time.
Then they've got it right at the hotel up the road then, haven't they?
Where they were doing it all year,
Where
absolutely.
they started Christmas in September, and they've done it every single day. Brilliant.
That was strategy. Strategy. And I think that's probably what we'll see is that, parts of your family, like it could be that an entire household couldn't come. So you won't see them on the 25th, but you might see them on the 28th when they've come out of isolation.
Mm. Yeah.
And you'll probably do some small semblance of Christmas between Christmas and New Year's. Like a week-long party.
I mean, there'll be people there rubbing their hands thinking, I hope that bloody great auntie catches it and can't come around. I mean, that will be happening in houses. There will be people hoping that a relative they don't want catches it, and they'll be like, get in or something when they find they've got it, high-fiving everyone and things like that. I mean, I'm trying to bring a light.
Serious outcomes may actually.
But there will be. There has to be.
You may permanently lose that member from
They'll be fine. They just can't come round for 10 days. Oh, gutted. I'll be back at work by then. It's that will be going on.
You've got to think as well. What about all of those extra people that are going to be hoarded in to do all of the testing and everything else and providing jabs? I mean, there's going to be a lot of people putting in a lot of hours over Christmas. A lot of people putting in a lot of hours. I mean, and what happens if on Christmas Day you test positive? Well, here's a really good question. How many people will actually do a lateral flow test on Christmas Day?
Do you know, we had this conversation last night, actually, my wife and I, and we were saying, we were saying, do we ask? So on Christmas Day, there's the four of us. There's my wife's mother who'll be staying for a few days, and then my parents are coming round and my sister at some point. And we actually did say yesterday, do you ask people coming round on Christmas Day to do a lateral flow test before they come in your house? If they're going to be there all day, do you ask them to do one? I don't think we actually came to a conclusion, but it was just, we did have that same thought as does it get to the point where even on Christmas Day with family, you say, can you do one before you come in? Because this was spoken about, wasn't it? They did suggest if you're going to carry on doing parties that you did one of those tests? I don't know. I'm not sure. Is that taking it too far? Is it the
And
right
then,
thing to do?
And then the thing is, on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, say it's Christmas Eve, and you say to them on Christmas Eve, do a lateral flow test, and then people prove positive. Are they going to get, and people may know this, are they going to get a PCR test on Christmas Day?
I think it's the course of kindness. If we've learned anything, is to be a bit more considerate to other people. In that we've, we're now considering how much distance we're spending, between us and the next person. And we're now thinking about, if I go and see this elderly relative, am I safe to go? So I actually think we've become more considerate, and therefore I actually don't think it would be offensive to ask. But I also think it sounds like the course of wisdom, especially if you're going to be visiting multiple households. I think it's just part of life now. Like if I know I'm going to see my grandma, I will spend a couple of days not going physically out and seeing people just in case. Or, if I have had a busy week, I will do a lateral flow test before I go, because I think it's just the course of kindness and being thoughtful. And actually, it's a tiny bit of inconvenience to actually know that when you can see these people, you can give them a hug without feeling guilty that you brought something more sinister with you.
Yeah.
So.
See, to me, these are the conversations that need to take place more, is the conversations where you hear all these rules from politicians, but actually people like ourselves kicking it round and almost contextualizing it into say, well, this is how it'd impact us. This is how, it's interesting. That's where I think people would probably feel a bit more comfortable if they got some sort of live examples of what are other people doing. It might give people a little bit more comfort, rather than there's all this anger about all the decisions that are made. Actually, well, how does it affect him? How's he dealing with? Oh, actually, I'd never thought about that. Yeah, we'll do that. That's a solution. Where I think at the minute it just seems to be it's all being pushed down, isn't it? Really, at the moment.
I know. I'd love to see more open discussion with people from both sides of the fence as well. So rather than, especially on some of the social media platforms, rather than seeing sort of like an anti-vax post or a pro-vax post or whatever, I'd just like to see more discussion with both sides, and just people coming together to actually discuss why they're taking particular actions, so that there's a proper understanding. So it's very easy sometimes to just write about your viewpoint and put your viewpoint across, and then because you've not necessarily thought about anybody else in writing that viewpoint, suddenly you get a barrage back from the opposite direction, whereas actually it'd be nicer for it to be a more balanced discussion in the first place.
I think we focus so much about the politicians' opinion and what we think they should be doing, but we forget that they have to make a blanket rule for everybody. But what's more important is, what does that practically mean for you and I, who have to keep this, who are worrying about relatives, who do now have to live in a society where we are given these kind of restrictions and curfews and other bits and pieces? How does it actually feel to be living through that? And how is that impacting things like you've talked about mental health and other bits and pieces? What does it actually mean, real feet on the ground, living this day to day? What does that actually impact, rather than worrying so much about a political society, which actually is just going to have to make one rule for everyone? Because you can't give everybody sub guidelines and exceptions and stuff like that. You have to just make one rule that the majority will follow, knowing that there are going to be pockets of people who will agree, and some people who will be evangelical almost in their approach to it, and they'll take every rule as this is the way we need to live our life. People are going to have different interpretations, and it is going to be very much based on their day-to-day interactions. And that's actually what we should be focusing on. I keep seeing all these posts about, did you see so-and-so say this? Are you going to write to your MP and all this? And actually, what difference does it make? Because you've got to live with it. You've got to live almost in a set of rules that you're comfortable with, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's accountable, not these politicians. It's what you're doing in your everyday interactions that's important to whether or not we'll see an end to COVID or not, or whether or not we'll just learn to live like this as a day-to-day basis, and this is the new normal. It's about, each individual and not about the overall umbrella viewpoint.
You two are a lot closer to social media than I am. What's your sort of feelings on the different platforms as to how this whole subject is discussed? How is it presented? Have you are there any things that sort of stick out to you as you mentioned there, Graham, are you very much seeing it a bit of a them and us situation or not? What's your sort of feelings, how the whole thing's being portrayed across, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram? What's your thoughts on the whole social media take on this?
Go on, Odessa.
Why would you assume I've got an opinion? I've just talked. It's your turn.
Yeah, no,
clicking.
No, I'd like your opinion on that first.
I feel like the general consensus is quite angry that we're being passed down these rules, quite angry that people have got such forthright opinions as well. I actually think it's becoming one of those topics. COVID is becoming one of those topics that actually should not be on social media anymore, because I think it's become far too political, far too divisive, and actually we're seeing I'm seeing a lot of trolling on the basis of these polls and these questions, because they might be questions because somebody doesn't understand, or it's like, what would you do? What are your opinions? And people are getting so heated because I think what they associate any decisions made by COVID are directly linked to their freedoms and their liberties. So I feel like it's far more emotional and far more aggressive than I think is healthy, and that I think we should encourage a decline in the topic being discussed quite in the way that it is. I don't feel like there's a lot on Twitter, but I don't really like Twitter. Instagram, again, people are just talking about their day-to-day life and putting up pictures of the positive PCRs. We're seeing people saying, I've got COVID, that's why you won't see me, or some people on LinkedIn saying I'm really, really ill with it, and that's been more valuable to me, because we've fallen into this kind of complacent attitude of, oh well, it's just like the flu. And I agree that we are going to see a presence like the flu, but I think we're still in a time where it's as serious for some people as it was when it first started. People are getting very ill. We are still losing lives. And yes, the flu does that every year. And I was very much on that side of the fence for a very long period of time. But, a connection of mine, a friend of mine has got it and has got it quite bad. And actually, it's still a very real threat and danger to society. And we still need these measures in place. But I think hopefully, because we're now in practice of keeping our distance, wearing masks, hopefully washing our hands, I think hopefully, because those things should be now more commonplace, we're a bit more sensible. And like I said before, hopefully a bit more thoughtful, that one choice is going to have a snowball effect. If you don't take a lateral flow test and you visit your family and you've got COVID, then what's going to happen? Are you actually going to cause somebody to have COVID themselves and get it really, really bad? Because we can't just assume everyone responds to it like the flu. Is somebody going to potentially at the end of it very tragically lose their life because you weren't being careful? And I think, unlike the flu, and yes, that obviously does still kill people, we still lose people from it, this is still actually directly related to a very new and very difficult to overcome disease. And therefore, I think we just need to be careful, maybe not to the extent that we can be a bit more relaxed, but that threat still hasn't really changed.
Yeah, no.
You should have gone first, Graham.
No, I think one of the things I'll just add to that is I think that deliberately people are trying to change the language on it as we go forward.
Okay.
Yeah. I certainly think the press is trying to change the language on it. This time round, notice this. A lot more people using the name as opposed to COVID, right? When we had the Delta variant, we still talked about COVID and the Delta variant. Now people are talking about Omicron.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We are trying to get away from talking about COVID, and we are specifically trying to talk about Omicron. We're almost trying to make it as though this is another issue, separate issue in its own right. And I think that's actually really deliberate, because I think we're, whoever's behind that is trying to highlight that this is now another issue, and we now have to tackle this issue separately. We've almost got to the point where we knew what we've done with COVID, and we'd sorted COVID out sort of, but now this is Omicron, and we've got to deal with Omicron. And by it subtly changing the language, it almost feels like we're now tackling a different beast.
I'm not noticing that so much, to be honest.
I'd be interested now from what you've said, Graham, as to watch it going forward. See it going forward. Do we notice this? You know, this is sort of ground zero. Everything we read now, be interesting to look over the next few days as to whether that is the case, Graham. It's an interesting thought on that.
The only thing I would say about that is I'm seeing people use it more, but I'm still seeing equal, if not prevailing, use of the word COVID. And I guess it's also because people don't want to speculate that they've got this new one. People don't want to assume, because I think it's almost that response to leprosy, isn't it? That you just kind of, I don't want to be associated with that because we don't really know how that's going to turn out, or we don't know how dangerous that is. So I'm just going to say COVID because I don't want to speculate that it's as bad as everyone says it is and things like that. So I think people are maybe being more careful or trying to pick the term that is maybe least threatening, and whether COVID now is no longer as threatening, to say maybe people will continue to use it because it doesn't sound quite as dangerous now that the meaning of it has changed.
But I also think it's to do with very clever thinking about the way that we assimilate information as humans. Because when I was young and we had a hurricane or a storm, do you know what we called it? A storm. Right? Every storm that came along on the news, we've got a storm.
Yeah.
Now, every storm has a name, and it's sequential, and it moves up.
We've had that system for a while.
Yes, we have. But what I'm saying is, why do we develop these? Why do we fixate on those systems? I think it's actually because there's more of a kind of, it creates more of a psychological preparation for people that this is actually a moving feast, and it's moving on, right? And there's a comparison as well. Oh, this storm was worse than that storm. Oh, this storm wasn't as bad as that storm. So by actually naming things and putting the name first, you can then start going, well, actually, do you know what? We dealt with that one really well. And it's not a continuous thing. And I think there's a deliberate act to get away from, we're now dealing with this continuous thing that's going to continue and continue and continue. Going back to the early conversation, but actually now what we're going to do is specifically deal with these issues as they arise. And this one's called this.
Maybe.
It's just a fault. A fault. You know, but I think there's a psychological element to it in which now we think, okay, if we name them, and if we specifically look at each one as a danger point, it almost feels more immediate rather than something that's dragged out. Yeah, and therefore that's better. Anyway, we could talk about this till the cows come home. When are we going to have a Christmas party? Come on, whee! That's all you need, isn't it, for a Christmas party?
What, lights? I think we need food and booze.
Look at Odessa's face. Okay, well, in the 2 minutes that we've got left, there's the lights. What music are we having?
You've got to do something as the pub singer, surely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go on,
no, because that was absolutely not.
Last Christmas by Wham, we want to hear as the pub singer.
Oh, no.
Come on, Graham. You know you want to.
Oh,
Odessa, can you join in?
No, I'm not going to.
Absolutely
not. That was worrying.
My heart at the very next day you gave it away. To save me from tears, give it to somebody special.
It's comedy gold, isn't it, Odessa?
There are no words. I heard that whilst I was driving. I've listened to the show mostly whilst I was driving, so forgive the dangerous texting. But I listened to that and I was like, please, Steve, come back.
It's actually quite accurate. It's actually quite accurate.
He's just killing time. And I'm like, please, someone intervene at this point. We're watching a live breakdown of somebody just losing it.
But that's what it was like. That's what pub singer was like. It was
Next week, Graham, we need a clip of this.
I'm not familiar with it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not familiar.
Right.
So it just sounds like you're having an episode.
For next week's show, we're going to kick off with a Vic Reeves pub singer from what was the program again?
Was it something of Vic and Mortimer, wasn't it?
No, it was the one where Ulrika Johnson was in it, and they used to sort of fawn over Ulrika Johnson.
Shooting Stars, you mean?
It was Shooting Stars, wasn't it?
Shooting
it was around in Shooting Stars.
It was around before that, actually, though. The pub singer was in Vic and Bob when they used to do their live, their big live shows.
I didn't realise that. I knew it from Shooting Stars,
along with the man with the stick, and Matt Lucas playing the drums in a baby outfit. See, Odessa really think, what is it? But that was their kind of
I'm starting
humor.
to question. You know, when you said 2022 was going to be better, I wonder if 2020 is the year so I go solo.
Are you having a business divorce, you two?
I don't know. Look, it's you've got to appreciate these things were great. And so just to end on food for the party.
Well, we had
need the whole show for this.
Can I just recommend something? My wife had some friends round on Friday, COVID secure, blah, 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 blah. And they had cheese profiterolls from Marks and Spencer's.
What kind of cheese?
Amazing.
Cheese profiteroles?
So no chocolate.
No, don't question it. Graham, just let him speak. What kind of cheese are we talking?
I don't know. It's like a soft, gooey cheese inside a profiterole that is warmed up in the oven. No chocolate,
like a mozzarella.
Savoury one.
Like a mozzarella.
No, I just said it was a bit softer than that.
Oh, was it? And was it quite strong?
No, it was. You bit into it. It was like a bit sort of like apple pie at McDonald's, where it's almost molten lava inside. But seriously, cheese profiteroles from Marks and Spencer's. You've got to try them. I would bring them to the party.
Other party food is available.
I was going to say other supermarkets and party food is available. But yeah.
I love Marks and Spencer's. Marks and Spencer, if you're listening,
please sponsor the show.
So there you go. And you know,
Stephen cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
Oh,
so what would you? So what's your two items? You can bring one item. You can both bring one item to go with the molten cheddar cheese.
I'm really quite enjoying from TESCO. I'm really quite enjoying their rum infused mince pies. There you go.
What?
Ooh.
Rum infused mince pies. Yep. Spiced rum infused mince pies. They do. Yeah.
Come on, Odessa. What are you gonna?
My instant thing would be some sliced Italian meat, some salamis and stuff. But I feel like that's somehow subpar. I take this conversation so seriously. I don't know.
And that's all we've got time for today.
Never do this at the end. Don't put me under time pressure when it comes to food. This is by far my favourite topic.
No? Anything?
So, I mean, salmon and cream cheese is always a winner. Salmon and cream cheese bagel.
Salmon and cream cheese it is. Salmon and cream cheese it is. Done. There we go. Done. We'll see you all again next week. It will be Wednesday again next week, I believe.
Wednesday at 12. The regular
Wednesday
slot.
at 12, just before I go off to Haynes Motor Museum to have my other booster jab in the other arm.
That is the excitement of the week.
Yeah,
it really will be. So tune in again Wednesday midday next week for more of this. And hopefully we have a guest next week as well, who hasn't been dragged in under duress.
Whilst eating a mid-packet of crisps.
Oh, look at that. No wonder, right? We're talking about all that great food and she's there eating a packet of stuff. Bye, everybody, for now.